Across East and Southern Africa, what one filmmaker calls a threat to our very humanity is driving the world's largest land mammal toward extinction. African elephants, whose ivory is prized in many Asian countries, are being slaughtered by the tens of thousands. In Tanzania alone, the elephant population has dropped by 60%. Imagine that, 60% in just 5 years, mostly because of ivory poaching. And consider this, as the filmmaker points out, the fewer elephants, the scarcer the ivory, and the higher the price, an ever-increasing motivation for poachers to murder them. That filmmakers group spent 16 months tracking poachers in Africa to ivory dealers in China to reveal the shadowy and really sinister world of ivory poaching, and in doing so, issuing a call for the world to put a stop to it. Here's a bit of their Netflix film, The Ivory Game.
So we don't really know if there is a carcass, and they might still be here, which is why it's still pretty dangerous in there. Prepared to shoot at you, and you have to be prepared to shoot back. If you don't realize that, then you need to go somewhere else.
All right, for more now on this groundbreaking and really disturbing film, I'm joined now by the director of The Ivory Game, Kief Davidson, and Andrea Crosta, the executive director of the Elephant Action League. They're joining us now from Los Angeles. Thanks to you both for making the time.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
We're excited to have you both because here on CNN today we've been following the ivory trade. We've done many reports on this and the really high demand for it, and of course, what this means for elephants. Kief, first to you, what drew you to tracking the ivory trade and making this documentary?
Yeah, I mean, this is a project that's been going on for about 3 years now. I have a colleague on this, Richard Ludkani. The two of us came together and joined forces because we first read an article that was in the New York Times called The Price of Ivory. And The Price of Ivory talked about how elephants could go extinct within the next 10 to 15 years if the killing doesn't stop. And we were quite struck by the scope of the devastation. We both knew that elephant killing was going on, but not to the magnitude that it is. And once we realized that 35,000 elephants per year were getting slaughtered for their ivory, we decided this was a film that we had to make immediately.
Yeah, it's really alarming when you think about a whole species could, go extinct just because of human activity. Andrea, to you, I mean, you go undercover in this film in Asia. You track down the dealers. Tell us about what you find when you find these dealers, and you did have some close calls as well.
Yeah, we did. Well, our work is basically my work is to go with my teams of investigators. We run sources in multiple countries. We want to get as close as possible to traders and traffickers to understand how they work, their modus operandi, from where they import illegally ivory from Africa. So it comes with risk. So I don't want to spoil the film, but sometimes goes wrong, and you cannot do much about it. But we focus mostly on intelligence gathering and investigation in the field to understand as much as we can, so we can better inform policymakers and politicians, and we can better pressure, especially China, to close down the legal market.
And Kief, just help our viewers from around the world understand just how high, how intense demand is for ivory.
Yeah, the demand is, it seems like it's unstoppable, actually. We follow in the film very passionate rangers and undercover activists and people like Andrea Crosta that are working day after day to try to protect the elephants. But, as Andrea said, really the only solution for this is for there to be a worldwide, global end to this. China in particular needs to stop their market. The U.S. has finally banned ivory federally, but they have not yet put in a state-by-state ban, which means that almost every state, except for I think 4, it's still legal to buy and sell ivory locally. So, until this is shut down, the killing is going to continue, and And we can't wait 5 years, because in 5 years,
Right.
half of the elephant population will be gone.
Andrea, I think you said in the film that there's one person who could single-handedly change the fate of the elephant species. Who is that, and why do you believe that?
Yes, this person is the president of China. I think, as I say in the movie, I think it's the first time in human history that one person has in his hands the destiny of an entire species, the elephant. The legal Chinese market of ivory, it's working as a gigantic laundering machine. Through this legal market, enormous quantities of illegal ivory are laundered every year. We're talking about hundreds of tons of ivory every year. The only chance to save the elephants and stop, the demand is for the Chinese government to close down the legal market for good.